We're going to open the meeting. So to start off, we're going to go a little bit out of order because someone for the town here needs to get on to another presentation and town meeting. So we are going to start with item number 3 on our amended agenda. And you want me to read that?
This is a presentation of warrant article 17-19-5, which is a citizen's petition to amend the zoning map to extend the Hummerock Village residential overlay district in Hummerock to include the aforementioned parcel 17-19-5. Representing the applicant this evening is Adam Brodsky. Mr. Brodsky.
Mr. Sullivan, thank you very much, and thank you for accommodating my schedule. I'm here representing South River Marina Realty LLC, the managers of which are Ken Duvall, sitting next to me, and Scott Herzog, who is behind me. And they recently purchased 21 Central Avenue. You're quite familiar with the property. Hummerock is the former South River Yacht Yard. And the property is located within the business district. A portion of it is located within the Hummerock Village Residential Overlay District. And we've submitted a citizen's petition to change the zoning map to place the entire parcel within the overlay district. And we were asked to present the article to this board, and we've been in front of other boards. Again, I do have handouts, but I do have a blown-up copy of the zoning maps I can just show you quickly. And it's a little bit confusing because the zoning map, that's Marshfield Avenue, it doesn't show the bridge. So the property is adjacent to Marshfield Avenue, and it's oddly shaped. It's T-shaped, and so it has frontage on Marshfield Avenue, and then also frontage on Central Avenue. And you see the green hatched area is the overlay district. And you'll see that there's a portion of the property that was taken out of the overlay district. So what happened is in 2007, the town undertook a rezoning effort for Hummerock. And the idea was to promote change in the business district. The red area is the entire business district. This property is located within the business district. And there's general understanding that that business district is underutilized. And so the idea was to promote development within the business district and encouraging multifamily use. The town hired zoning consultants who drew up a map. And when the map of the overlay district, the green, was actually prepared, the entirety of this property was actually in the overlay district. Was targeted, was one of the properties that was targeted for redevelopment. When they were workshopping the article and the zoning map, the then operator of the boatyard and several people advocated to exclude the boatyard from the overlay district. And so that's why we have this oddly shaped.
Why?
All I can tell, I have my suspicions why, is that they wanted to maintain their business there in the boatyard.
It does nothing but add value. But
I agree. So that's conjecture on my part. This was in 2007, and all of our information.
I was at a bunch of those hearings, and specifically for Greenbush, is why I was there, and I was watching these presentations. I don't remember those guys asking that it be excluded. But as I was looking at this, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world that it be included, and certainly I think that the board would likely be in favor of including this, but for the life of me, I was like, why did they look to exclude it? It's only going to help them.
Right, it's because even with the overlay district, as you well know, that would not necessarily change any of the underlying uses. So I can't tell you why this happened. All I can do is
available.
Yes,
right?
it doesn't take away
doesn't take anything away.
Right, it only adds them.
So now, present time, the boatyard industry has changed. There's no demand for dealers to have large buildings to show boats. We have a large building on this site. There's no demand for rack storage in the building. You can't really need the sort of typical old-style boatyard operations that travel with it. You just don't use that technology on these hydraulic trailers. The new ownership, there's a marina associated with the new ownership sees the marina as value added. So they're going to maintain the marina, and they'd like to maintain portions of the boatyard operation. But they really need the ability to do other uses, in particular to explore multifamily, which is what was intended there, in order to not maximize they want to maximize the use of the property. But also, the whole purpose of this mapping was to revitalize this underutilized business district. So the purpose of the zoning article is simply to amend the map, put the entirety of the property back into the overlay district. So then at least there's some opportunity to evaluate different uses that were provided by the overlay district. We presented this to the planning board. The planning board is fully supportive of the proposal. We've been to advisory. Advisory sees this also as a good idea. And we simply wanted to, we were asked to bring this to you just so that you would understand what we were asking at town meeting. And we're happy to answer any questions you have regarding the proposal.
What do we got? Questions?
I just finally comment is that I think it should have been included in the first instance, but it was, they acquiesced to the request of the property owner for the portion that is going to be now included. It's not spot zoning. If there are any folks that think that it might be, it's not. Spot zoning is when you seek to change a single parcel that's for the benefit of the property owner and would be harmful to the neighborhood, and it's not consistent with the zoning for the surrounding lots. So that is not the case in this instance. So I'm certainly in favor of it.
I agree.
No, arguably, you could say that it was spot zoning the other way. When they
Right, absolutely.
It could be reverse spot zoning.
Yeah,
Maybe
Kind of
ill-conceived.
Yeah.
The pre-existing non-conformity would be able to continue, the current use would be able to continue on that.
Right.
Yeah, but certainly, you saw your neighbors as they took what was the former nautical mile, and they were able to add value by putting the residential units in. They brought back the marina to an operating marina, and certainly, those maritime uses are needed in this neck of the woods. So anything that you can do that will enable your business to be successful and stay afloat, no pun intended, is good. This board has always tried to support local businesses, so we wish you luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. Thanks for coming in.
Does anyone from the audience have any questions or comments about that?
You're fortunate enough to be here during this
Yeah.
presentation. Let me
So,
take it.
presentation from the board.
Unfortunately, here it again at town meeting, but thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
All right, our next out of order is going to be the request for modification of a comprehensive permit for Stockbridge Landing. I will, I guess, out of procedure, I'll read. The comprehensive permit was issued on February 10th, 2003, and most recently modified on September 1st, 2017, for the property at 90 Stockbridge Road in Scituate. Dakota Partners, Inc. and Stockbridge 2 Realty Trust request a modification of the comprehensive permit granted under MGL Chapter 40B, Sections 20 through 23, as amended, to change the number of units from 74 units in 14 buildings to 68 units in 34 duplex buildings, and to modify the grading. The property is located at 96 to 100 Stockbridge Road and off Stockbridge Road. Mike, what's going on?
Mr. Chairman, before you tonight is a request to continue this hearing. There's been some discussion between the engineers about what documents they need. I am working with our engineers to try to satisfy your engineers. It's taking a little more time than I thought. There's some disagreement as to the scope of what needs to be provided, and I'm trying to armbar my guys to get CEI what they need. So we just need some more time.
And just to update the board on my interactions with the parties, not long after our last meeting, we had a conference call with the applicant's engineers, and Attorney O'Shaughnessy was on it, and I was on it, and the town's engineer where the applicant's engineers started to express some concerns about, oh, do you really need this, do you really need that? And the applicant and Attorney O'Shaughnessy was helpful in saying, let's avoid getting into the nitty-gritty on what they need and don't need. These are things that are out there, we'll get them for them, and then let's let the town's engineer write the report to confirm the things that we've asked them to confirm. Then in that, maybe the applicant's engineer didn't move quite as quickly as they should have in hindsight. Our engineer does not have what they need in order to make the report at this meeting, so they're asking us to continue until next meeting, when I am confident our engineer will have what they need to make the report we asked them to make.
That's what I'm shooting for, so.
So I was just going to say, is that enough time for Stockbridge to get the information to CEI?
So, in my opinion, and I've spoken to the town's engineer, once they have the items that they have asked for, the time it will take them to produce the report we've asked for is measured in days, not weeks.
Okay.
And my understanding, and let me know if you disagree, is 4 or 5 days of good work trying to obtain all these documents, which are out there and already exist, and some of which are public record, should be more than enough time.
Yeah, I was at DEP the other day, just to fill in the board. Their file was a little sparse, and I know Dick Benedictus has been in town hall trying to dig up some of the background as well. And he's working on it. I was actually on the phone with him earlier today just to try to get that. He's working on it. He's working on it.
And my only other question is, in requesting a continuance, we have some time limits that we need to meet in terms of hearing this, or did you cover that in your
It's in
letter?
the letter.
Yeah.
Great.
Like the second to last paragraph.
Yep, fantastic. So with that, I guess, did we go to audience questions? It's not really.
Move to continue the application to our next, our March meeting.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
When's the next March?
March 21st.
March 21st. I appreciate you taking that.
Absolutely. That's back at town hall.
Right, that's at the selectmen's
Thank you
area.
very much.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike.
Thanks.
I didn't read it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, now back in order. Our first application tonight is Kelly and Susan Colleen.
It's an Irish name.
Everyone mispronounces my last name, so I'm conservative. Of 185 First Parish Road in Scituate. Request a special permit finding in accordance with MGL Chapter 48, Section 6, and/or Section 810.2 of the Scituate zoning bylaw to construct an accessory structure on pre-existing non-conforming property located 185 First Parish Road, increasing the gross floor area by more than 20%.
Mr. Chairman, I got to recuse myself.
Okay. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Kelly Colleen, 185 First Parish, I'm also from CHA Consulting, and from prepared the drawings on this, for the site. So what we have is an existing non-conforming lot. The area is about 17,900 and plus or minus square feet. The frontage is about 108 feet. What we're proposing to do is file under Section 530 of the town's bylaws for an accessory dwelling. The existing dwelling that we have shown here, the square footage, as best we can get from the building assessor card, is 1,562 square feet. We're proposing an 18 by 40 accessory dwelling, which is 720 square feet. So the addition would bring us over the threshold set by Section 810.2 of your bylaws. We would be increasing to 46% as opposed to the maximum of 20%. All components, setbacks associated with the new construction would comply with the current zoning. So it's basically the area which forces it into the non-conforming classification. detail in here. We're before the planning board now. I actually had a hearing on January 24th. It was continued. I'm running these concurrently. So it's continued. They're waiting for your vote so that we can close it on the 14th. Hopefully we can close it on the 14th. I did get my stormwater permit issued to me yesterday. So we should be all set with that. And hopefully, like I say, we can move forward to close for the 14th with the planning board.
The entirety of the structure is within the building envelope.
Yeah.
That's correct?
Correct. We're interested in architecturals. It's basically mimicking some of the outbuildings around my house. It's like it's got an 8-foot ceiling, a full 8-foot ceiling in it. This is going to house my in-laws. They're 82 to 85 years old. I'm sure you want to.
You want us to shut off the camera? Maybe you give me a wink and we'll say no.
My wife is watching.
I blew it.
And the whole idea is just rather than putting an addition onto the existing house, my house is up about maybe 4 to 5 feet above grade. I need a single floor level for them with easy access, and this would be no more than that, about maybe a step or two to get into it.
And what's the stair on the side?
So I came from a house that was 2,800 square feet. I just moved in back in May. I had no room in my basement. So this is going to serve for mechanical space for the unit itself and storage for so I can eliminate some space with some storage in the basement. It's not living space.
And that's not incorporated into your
Calculation.
The only reason I raise the question is if it's, you're under the 750 for accessory dwelling. So it's, per se, within the bylaw, you don't have to worry about being a percentage of the dwelling, et cetera. If they're comfortable with that, I'm not.
Right, that's, yeah, there's another board's going to review that, right? That was a good question.
Another question along the same lines, Board of Health, septic system, you're adding at least one bedroom. Is your field upgraded for that?
The existing house the existing house was remodeled last year. As part of that remodel, they installed a new septic system. That septic system was sized for this dwelling at the time, which is 4-bedroom. It's now a 3-bedroom house, as you can see on the accessory card. So the additional bedroom would be this unit. They have run that by the Board of Health. The planning department has as well.
Good.
And it's reflected on the plan that the leaching field's a 4-bedroom leaching field and the existing dwelling is 3 bedrooms. So that as long as we stay with it and what's reflected on the plan, we should be.
You have anything else? Brian?
Nothing.
You good? Does the audience have any questions, comments? No? All right.
Great, thank you.
We have,
I move to grant some relief under section 810.280 to allow the construction of an accessory dwelling of up to 720 square feet in accordance with section 530 of the Scituate zoning bylaw.
Second.
all in favor? Aye. There we go. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Simon.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
All right, thank you. Move to our back.
You want to
need an extra plan?
You need one? I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
All right.
I think it's thrown away. You
I
pay
throw it
for
All right, our second application on the night is just murder, non-Italian last names. Derek Flodine of 57 Ridge Hill Road, Scituate, Massachusetts. Requests a special permit finding.
Yeah.
Flodine?
Yeah.
Feel free to do what you want tonight. Requests a special permit finding pursuant to MGL Chapter 48, Section 6, and/or Section 810.2 of the Scituate zoning bylaw to allow the construction of an addition to a pre-existing non-conforming dwelling and property at 57 Ridge Hill Road, Assessor's Map 55, Block 2, Parcel 28, increasing the floor area by more than 20%. Evening.
Good evening, I'm Dick Rockwood. I did the architectural work the company did for the Flodens here. These are the owners, Derek and Jill Floden. We are here because the front of the house is non-conforming. The lot is conforming. It's 10,000 square foot, it's a 13,000 square foot lot. So what we're doing is putting a two-story addition on the back portion of the house, which does come around and sort of pork chops around the right-hand side of the house, 5 feet out. There's a farmer's porch and an extension of the room up above. So we're here basically because it's a non-dimensional, setup in the front on the existing structure. But our addition will be conforming.
So pretty much you're putting the addition, the only place you can put the addition. You can't really go to the left, you can't go to the right.
Correct.
You can't go forward, you can only go back, toward the back.
And it's existing 4-bedroom septic system. The house is 3 right now, and we have 4 bedrooms.
Sewer's not up on Ridge Hill?
No,
Does it run down?
it's not on meeting house either.
It's not on a meeting house, jeez. Because I know it comes down Gilson, it runs
Oh, it's on Driftway.
Driftway.
We listen to Stewart's now, it's gonna be a long night.
It's all within the building.
Yeah, I mean, the plans, thank you for submitting the plans, they're very attractive. And obviously, you're going the only place you can go.
Correct.
Not that it makes probably any difference to me, but the width, area, and frontage, I think are non-conforming as well, pretty.
Right.
Just so we get it right.
And frontage.
And area, because it's R2, right? It should be 20,000,
But is it in that area?
but,
Doesn't really change the analysis.
no, but I just wanted to make sure that.
Yeah, no, it's good to note that. You got anything else? You guys all right?
Front yard setback.
Brian?
Sorry?
No more?
No.
Anyone from the audience? Doesn't look like it.
Just one comment, I think.
Please.
The farmer's porch would be roofed presumably, and so that does extend into the front yard setback in terms of zoning. That kind of counts as does the addition as newly constructed.
Well, they're
They're not getting any closer than they are now.
Yeah, they're extending the front yard encroachment.
Correct.
They're not creating new encroachment.
They're not increasing the encroachment, right? No, that's a good note. All right. You have a motion?
I make a motion on the application of Derek Flodin, 57 Ridge Hill Road, Scituate, Mass, for his request for a special permit finding pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 6, Section 810.2 of the Scituate zoning bylaws, pursuant to the plan dated January 10th, 2018, prepared by EET 465 Furnace Street, Marshfield, Mass. That this board grant the requested special permit / finding.
Second.
I think do we just want to add to the extent there are any intensifications? They're not substantially more detrimental
Yes,
to the surrounding.
I would so find.
Okay. Yeah.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Good luck.
Thanks.
Who's doing that one? You sure?
Yeah, I got it.
On to our third application.
Do we know how to get a hold of them?
Whatever.
The Hellenberg people.
Yes.
Uh,
I'm sorry?
The Brian Town Hall.
Oh, no.
I'm noticing they're on here, that's all.
Yeah.
I don't even know who I call.
I don't know either. Apologies.
You know what?
You can
Yeah.
send up the bat signal.
Yeah.
Well, if they go to town hall, they're going to come to a planning board meeting, which is going to direct them here, I would
I
presume.
would hope,
Well, yeah.
if they know.
That's assuming the planning board knows that we're here.
Um,
But it's posted on all
Karen
the
certainly
boards.
is, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I can text Karen and say,
Yeah. Hey, I'm kind of on speed dial.
This is our third application on the night. John Dolan, P.O. Box 1, Greenbush, Massachusetts, requests a special permit finding at 13 Wampatuck Avenue in Scituate, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 6, and/or Section 810.2 of the Scituate zoning bylaw, to allow the construction of an addition to the pre-existing non-conforming dwelling and property at 13 Wampatuck Avenue, Assessors Map 39, Block 7, Parcel 7, increasing the floor area by more than 20%.
Good evening. Good evening. How you doing? I'm John Dolan. My wife and I bought this property. We're going to renovate the inside of it. And it is a small house. There's a room on the front that's 7 by 20. We want to, bring it out another 5 feet, so it's like 12 by 20 on it, and fill in the 2 sides on the property. It will bring us closer to the street on it, because the setback right now is 17.9, and this will bring us to 12.7 on the front corner. The side setbacks are fine, but except that it's just on the front of the house where it's non-conforming to the non-conforming lot in the house.
You're right up against the side yard setback on the east side. And then
That 8-1
that's the Burnstills.
Yes,
You're
yeah,
right up-
okay.
You're right up at, you're at 8-1,
8-1,
sorry.
yeah, okay.
And then you've got a few feet that you can play with on the left side of the house, but it looks like you've got like some sort of a bulkhead or something, or a bump out on that side.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the setback is 30 feet. Right now you're at 17, give or take, but just about 18 feet. And you're looking to come out to 12 feet, so you're looking to pick up 5 feet. So if you use the average setback is 21.2. So you're already,
I'll finish. That's a significant increase
Okay.
in the nonconformity to me.
So, let me ask this, wouldn't 13.1 also be factored into the average setback?
This is 13 here, right?
I think it says on either side, if you look at the language on the bylaw. 200 feet on either side
Yeah,
of
but
the
not
subject
including the
property.
subject property.
Yeah,
Does it say not included the subject?
yeah, I don't have my bylaw with me.
I do. Give me
I
the-
feel like we've used
Or to-
the
or to
subject
an
property
intersecting
in the calculation in the past.
This was done by,
I'm not sure that makes.
Kevin R.
I was gonna say, if it was Paul Marabito, Paul would have included that calculation.
Yeah.
Paul's not sure.
Went to the wrong engineer.
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that at all.
Do you want me to read this?
Sure.
Yeah, in all districts, no building need be set back on its lot further from the line of the street or way than the average distance from such line of the buildings on the same side thereof between two intersecting streets and ways and within 200 feet of the lot in question.
I read that to include the
I
home.
would think you would include,
Yeah, it doesn't
include the
exclude,
building,
yeah.
yeah.
It doesn't say on either side, it just says
That
within
only,
200
that's
feet.
still, it's 20.3 with that. No, it brings down the average a little bit, but it's still,
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that you got a 3,500 square foot lot. And that's, I mean, it is what it is. Can't change the lot size. And I understand you wanted to do this, essentially a 5-foot bump out. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you're already encroaching.
to me, the question becomes if that increase in the intensification, to use the case law word, is substantially more detrimental to the surrounding neighborhood. For me, I'm not so sure it is.
Especially the house up the streets.
9.3,
If you drive down those streets, those, a lot of those, even those neighboring streets.
yeah, I'm trying to look at the satellite, yeah. But a lot of people think I'm on my phone, I'm typically looking
Up and down there.
on satellite.
I think next,
17 is the one next door, though. It's 30 feet setback, correct?
Yeah, that's that new, new,
Correct.
40 years old now, but.
So,
This is, yeah, Wampatuck.
It's been around for a while. It was my first 5
that kid,
half.
Hey, Daddy,
So it's like walking down the main. And then the end, it's 11 or 10.
Right, but this is down the,
Like it's probably the third or fourth house in the whole, coming off of that.
off of, I have this wrong?
And you got Marion, Clarence, goes right through, you get the one, the next one.
Some houses that
run
are
right through.
both, yeah.
So they're intersecting streets, that's why we can only use 3 properties or 4 properties?
Yeah, because Bramble Ave is when
That's right.
The only thing I'm concerned about is we've been careful about roofed entry areas when they further encroach on the front yard setback in the past. I'm sympathetic.
Yeah.
It's not like you're trying to do anything incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we have been, but have we said no in this sort of scenario?
Yes.
All right.
But
Right,
But that's exactly why we're here.
But no, I agree.
I remember I was in a meeting, I was not on the board at the time, but I was in a meeting and Shannon, Art Shannon was here, and he just wanted to do like a bump out over his stairs, and it was an encroachment, and you guys shut him down.
Was it a new encroachment?
Yeah,
It was a new.
it's a new encroachment, but it was like,
Well, that's a variance, and there's a difference.
it wasn't a variance, it was a pre-existing
It was an
non-conforming.
intensification.
It was an
Oh, okay, so it wasn't,
Wasn't new.
it wasn't, not a new one.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the down near Ely and.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I tend to take the position that every application is different.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
shouldn't
I do
make
too.
Yeah, no.
sweeping changes to what we've done in the past. We should be very careful with. But, yeah, I'm not sure that this is a substantial detriment.
Is it
to the surroundings.
substantially detrimental to the neighborhood?
The thing I look at too is it's a single floor living that's going to remain single floor. This isn't they're adding a second addition, which then it's going to be 2 floors taken up that area.
Okay, Tom, that's an excellent point. If we were to grant the relief and then put in the decision, and I'm loath to cloud titles, but put in the decision, it has to remain, it's good for what, 21 years or?
Oh, I would have to reread that, their section 35, yeah, but when it relates to permitting and relief,
It's got to stay a single level.
yeah, I think I'm typically against putting restrictions in decisions, but I think that's fair, because if we find that a single level addition in this footprint is not substantially more detrimental, maybe we'd have more consideration to a 2-story. That's a different question.
The idea is that Wampatuck Ave doesn't turn into a canyon where people are building 2-story things like right out to the street. Because permitting this is going to increase the average that the other neighbors then can use. And then everyone is going up 2 or say 2.5 stories.
Yes.
So if we were to put, grant the relief, provided it remain a single story.
Well, and the other thing to consider is that the way layout and the way are significantly different here.
Oh, of course.
Just to scaling it, I'm looking at the edge of the way to the property line is probably at least 12, 15 feet.
So Ed, you're saying that the way you scale this, it's probably going to be about 30 feet from the edge of the pavement.
You're right.
From
I wasn't even
the
looking at
berm.
Meaning that the public right-of-way is far
Yeah.
larger than the actual.
Oh, yeah.
Which is another consideration
We could
to
argue-
make to lessen this detriment.
That's like the situation down on 3A, just before the North River, where
Yeah.
3A drops
It's
out.
like 500 feet wide.
Yeah.
Right.
And granted relief because of that.
Yeah, that was,
Right.
I represented that guy, Ken Brindell.
Yeah, the three garage.
Yeah.
Arguably, you're close to the required setback in terms of the spirit of the bylaw.
Yeah.
There was a big taking by the town.
Yeah, that's pretty much, you don't even.
Kind of shocked.
Well, it's probably.
When you saw it too.
Blades come out, I go, wow,
These
really?
were all, I think all of these were laid out by the Suburban Land Court, so it would have been in the 20s. And they were all whatever, 40-foot ways.
I thought it was
The first time the proving grounds was leveled.
Well, before we get into further detriment analysis, any comments from the audience? Seems like you guys might be interested. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, I mean,
This one doesn't really bother me.
Really, it's your call. I mean, it's clear that, the situation is the situation.
Yeah.
So your opinion is fair
If only.
and fair.
Not
if the
not
lot
to
went up to the street, it probably wouldn't even be.
not to put you on the spot, but if this was built as proposed, it wouldn't stand out as a real outlier in town, would it?
No, I don't believe so. The house next door, you're going to be hard pressed to see the difference between this one and the house next door in terms of setbacks.
Right.
And particularly where the pavement, is so far away from the property line for both those buildings. I think we've got situations that are far more egregious than this in many places in town, and they're considered to be just.
Do you want to name names, Bob?
Parcelized.
Not necessarily, but,
I'm only concerned from the standpoint of, I wanted to be clear that we're looking at these individually. I mean, this is a case of, It's a 3,000 square foot lot. This isn't a 5,000 square foot lot where you could take it down, move it back. It's 3,500.
And it's not lost on me that the house is going from 980 to 1130.
Yeah, it's still gonna be a small.
We're not going from 3,500 to 4,000. Yeah.
And even
Over
if,
900 square feet to 3,000 square feet.
even if in the future it went to a second floor, and not in the proposed addition, but if you went with a, step back second floor, you still wouldn't be looking at overbuilding. You can't. I mean, the building envelopes,
Yeah.
the
It's
setback area is so
all done,
small, and the little you can do, and the lot has an unusual size, an unusual shape because of the 74 feet on one side, 79 feet on the other.
Is that a rhombus?
I think that's a wrong.
It's not a parallelogram. It's a trapezoid.
So, I think,
For those reasons, I think we can,
I think we're ready for a motion.
consider that.
What are you talking into it?
Look at that.
Because our job really here is to assist people in utilizing it.
I couldn't agree more.
Especially firefighters.
All right.
Move that we grant a special permit
Slash.
finding to John Millen of Post Office Box 1 in Greenbush under 48 Section 6 and 810.2 of the Scituate zoning bylaw to extend his pre-existing non-conforming dwelling located at number 13 Wampatuck Ave in Scituate, out to extend the front yard encroachment to 12.7 feet in the front and 14.1 feet on the westerly side,
Which is not.
which is not non-conforming, correct. And in accordance with the plan dated January 30th, 2019 of Cavanaro Consulting, provided that the aforementioned addition remain one story.
Substantially not one.
And find
And
that
said,
the,
and said extension is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the current pre-existing nonconformities.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Doors open, don't go one up 2 stories.
Put the next
No
one.
towers. No turrets.
Turrets, yeah. Thank you.
They'd be all over.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, what do we do?
I just looked at it, I was trying to find a phone number.
Should I get my card?
I looked,
Were you able to get anyone at town hall?
no, I texted Karen, but I'm sure she's not looking at her phone.
You want me to go?
Thank you, good night.
I'll do it.
It's a planning board meeting.
Yeah.
Hey,
Can I take a recess and
I'm gonna go see if I can.
be back in a minute?
we back?
Yep.
Move, come out of recess.
Yes. Sorry, all in favor?
In our absence, we've been trying to locate the next applicant, who is, because we're not customarily in this building, we've reached out to town hall. There appears to be no one in town hall for the application. Therefore, move to continue the next application of request for modification comprehensive permit issued to SEB Herringbrook LLC, on October 3, 2018, allowing development of 60-unit apartment community at 126 and 132 Chief Justice Cushing Highway, Assessors Map 5818A and 58150. Move to continue it to our March meeting, March 21st,
Yeah.
March 21st at Town
at
Hall.
Town Hall.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we have minutes?
Sue, if you could kindly send an email tomorrow morning to Angler of
Yeah.
of Herringbrook, saying, we were at the meeting, we continued it, you were not there, we continued it as a courtesy, kindly confirm
Yeah,
that
your attendance.
that you will extend the date that we need to decide this
Okay,
until after that meeting.
okay,
Because I don't want to, by default, give them this without first having a hearing.
okay.
And I think we have 21 days to decide it.
Mhm.
Came in on the 6th,
Okay.
or whatever, maybe it's 30 days. But that's kind of important.
Sure.
Can't have a public hearing without the
And
applicant.
my guess is that they were not trying to backdoor
Oh, I don't
its
either.
approval.
I
I
don't
think
either.
it's just a mistake.
No, I don't think I know. Do you want me to read the dates of the meeting minutes, or?
Let's see what Brian thinks about this. So Brian, the application for the Herringbrook change states at the end of it, the above process does not require a public hearing. A public hearing would only be required if you determine that the requested changes are substantial changes. And if so, and pursuant to the aforesaid regulations, a public hearing is to be held within 30 days. We should, what they're saying, I'm not sure I agree. I feel that our deliberation and determination of whether a change to a comprehensive permit is substantial should be done in public.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have to have a public hearing to make that determination.
Right.
If we make that determination, then they have to come in with more information. We can easily make that determination that it's not, but we can't do that absent the applicant proposing a presentation.
presentation.
Well, I would give them at least the courtesy of making the presentation,
Right.
saying, this is why we believe it is not substantial.
But this cannot be perceived as constructive approval because we're not,
Well,
Because we're not able to have a hearing.
I agree, but they could certainly argue that if we did not just rule on it, that we constructively approved it. That's why I want them to agree to come to the next meeting to make their presentation. That's my concern.
Yeah.
By default.
I mean, well, so how do we make sure of that? Our options are to deny it, which I don't think we wish to do, and we don't wish to approve it without them here. We wish to continue it. I mean, should we?
aren't we effectively having a meeting by having this discussion? We've opened the meeting.
And
It was
40B
announced.
requires a
And we-
decision within the 20 days, doesn't it? If absent an agreement to extend that deadline from the applicant.
Yes, and what I'm saying is, I think we ought to give them the courtesy
So do I, absolutely.
of making their presentation. I mean, what they're talking about is they're adding more impervious surface, they're, putting this massive building on the property, three buildings that weren't there before. I mean, you could make an argument, this is a pretty big difference.
You could certainly make that
And
argument.
I'm not saying that I'm opposed to it, I'm just saying, this isn't just, just vote on that, I'm not
I
going
agree. I wouldn't feel comfortable voting that it wasn't substantial
And
tonight without their
certainly
presentation.
Without some sort of information.
Yeah,
I agree
no.
too.
Given the profile of this application,
What if I made a motion that in the event the applicant was against extending any required timelines under the statute to our next meeting, that we hereby rule that in the absence of further presentation from the applicant, we must find that the change is substantial?
yes, I would be in favor of that.
I will second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
So we'll put that on the record. All right.
Yep.
Oh, we're still on. So
And then
minutes.
move to approve the minutes as
Well,
forwarded by Sue.
date, or,
For August 30th, September 20th, October 2nd, October 18th, and November 15th, 2018.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to close the hearing.
So
To
moved.
close?
Second.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.